Hi, I'm Yapped, and this is Yoked.
I'd like to see your mouth do something else, though.
This mouth does his dog shit.
This is Yapped, and that's Yoked. I'm Yapped. You're Yoked. You're Yapped. She's a Yap. I'm a Yoked.
You had two parents that loved you growing up.
I tricked her into marrying me.
I'm mic'd up, so anything stupid I say goes on the internet. I need attention or I'll die.
The codependent fuck.
Welcome to another episode of Yapped and Yoked, and this time we're doing it correctly. The red light's on there, the red light's on there, and I say this because we did this all yesterday.
One day we'll get through it without
And 25 minutes in, I realized I didn't record on this bitch, and had a little bit of a temper tantrum. So walked out of the house and did a lap, and came back, and just vegged out the rest of the day. But here we are on this beautiful Monday. How's my wife, Summer?
Wife is here, and we're gonna get her done.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get her done. That's for damn sure. So, our topic is. Oh no, I can't remember what the title was.
Jesus Christ.
Can you? Are you gonna say? No. There we go. Don't judge me when you can't say it.
Having expectations for people will only let you down.
Yes.
And we previously discussed how this could be really for anything, whether that be friends, employees, employers,
Family.
mentors, family, relationships.
Spouse.
So,
Let's dive back in because we're not diving in for the
this
first time.
you'll get the Cliff Notes version, baby.
Hopefully, we can be a little bit more concise on this one. But the one thing I actually do want to change up from yesterday,
Spicy.
because somebody commented on one of my TikTok posts, and the comment was something along the lines of, so glad that they can't wait to foster a relationship like ours. Thank you for setting the standard on it, or setting
I guess we're really pushing the domestic violence acts.
setting the bar. The different direction I want to go today is basically not so much on the exact tone of expectations for others leading to potential disappointment, but in this one regard, have your expectations set fucking high for the person you spend the rest of your life with.
Damn. Kudos to me. I must be decent.
Decent is a great word to use.
In all aspects, you know?
Yes, in all aspects.
Yeah. What's the thing? It's like something of many, master of none. That's me.
Oh, yeah. Shit, what is it? Jack of all trades, but a master of none.
Yeah. That's me.
Or better yet, you are a master of daddy issues. And the only reason I say that is because Kieran brought up that story yesterday.
I told him to, and I just remembered.
I laughed so hard. My face hit the pillow, and I was like, what did he just ask?
He was
and then I just bursted out laughing.
He was telling me about a relationship thing, and he was like, yeah, unfortunately, I was paying the price for daddy issues. I go, oh, well, now that time's up, when you get Connor in here, if you need some mild entertainment, you could start the massage off by asking him about the time I asked if I had daddy issues, and he goes, okay. I was like, enjoy.
Now, I'm going to briefly touch on that before we get back on topic. I think this is going to be humorous for any and all.
Funny.
Yeah, you are funny, and that humor and that hilarity stems off of exactly what I'm about to say. Now, for everyone who doesn't know, for most of you who probably do know, based on this being our 10th or 11th episode now, Summer's father is no longer with us. And
by choice.
By choice. And growing up, there was not quite a pleasant history in the Mere household related to said father. Now, as anyone can imagine, a father leaving the planet by choice and some PTSD from childhood growing up, there's going to be definitively some daddy issues that come from this. It was about circa 2024. It was our first apartment here in Florida. We were watching, I don't remember what movie.
Blacklist.
Oh, shit, you're right. It was Blacklist. That makes this so much better.
It's not a movie either, baby.
It's a TV show. And the main character, I'm not going to spoil the show, something with her father, and this lovely blonde laying next to me turns to me and goes, do I have daddy issues? And I burst out. No, I don't even know if I burst out laughing. I think I looked at you with.
went into shock.
I think I looked at you with the deepest sense of curiosity, bewilderment, and confusion. Because by definition, you have daddy issues. By practice, you just did not display those daddy issues in the same stereotypical way that most people understand. Most daddy issues individuals like to cope with that by spreading their legs. Stereotype number one of many, I'm sure. You didn't do such a thing. You went to dark humor.
Yeah. Can I say something really, really bad
Oh,
now that
God.
we have mics in front of us?
Please.
It's not a dead dad joke, unfortunately.
That is extremely unfortunate for anybody and everybody.
When we were sitting in the vet the other night and I was sobbing, I almost looked up at you and said, I'm about to get so much funnier.
I feel like you've said that at another point in the time when something bad happened in our life.
But that's all I could think about was like, the only way I'm going to get through this is becoming more dark and more horrible. And
Okay, and I'm going to be going back to therapy. There we go.
you and me both.
Yes, probably. All right, back on topic. Having expectations for others can lead to disappointment. Now,
Facts, baby.
one thing I think I led off with yesterday was the fact that in recent time, in my own self-reflection and introspection and how I've been focusing on life and business right now, the one thing I've been trying to do best is keep expectations set just for myself and my household and my team. Now, my team is a separate conversation because that is still my job. That is very much so different than my household and my personal self. But keeping focus on those small individual aspects of my life has kept my sanity much more positive, since I'm not being let down by others, where I set expectations for others that just do not get met.
Yeah, I was thinking about this too because me and you had a conversation recently with some like friendship things aligning, misaligning, breaking up. And I was like, yeah, I think what hurts the most is because I expect more out of that person. And I made a reference to a person that I used to be friends with here in Tampa. And I was like, she's just there. Like, I didn't ever have any expectations for her. So when we completely went no contact, it was like not hurtful in any way because I just was like, I didn't expect more from her. Whereas this recent one that we went through, I was like, that hurts because I did have expectations for them and I held them to a higher standard. But what we were talking about just yesterday was like, it depends on the pedestal you put them on and like what, like you can't not have any expectations for anyone ever. You're just going to never have a meaningful friendship, relationship, anything. And as employers, we have to have expectations, and that's where it gets really gray in some cases, I would argue. But it's like parents. It's like, how do you have two completely different sets of expectations for two different children?
Yeah.
And so obviously you have to have some form of expectations and hold people to some standard. But I think that's where it gets really nitty gritty, is determining like what is, and I don't mean value in the sense that like you're just like friends with people for what they can offer you, but what value are they bringing to your life in the way that like that's going to ultimately determine what pedestal they're on and how much you expect out of them.
So I had a little bit of a thought process yesterday or last evening because I was thinking about the podcast, thinking about having to re-record it this morning. And I was thinking about that point you made yesterday as well. And it had me reflect on my childhood best friends and how I brought this topic up as well, where adulting right now, and it might just be where we live, it might be our careers, but adulting and friendship is fucking weird in 2026.
So weird.
Like, I never would have thought that my perception of friendship would be so, I don't want to say tangled, but so gray at the age of 31 because of what my friendships I was able to experience as I grew up. So back to that point, Brady, Greg, Miles, my three best friends growing up, basically inseparable from the 11 to 18 years old. And I never had expectations for them. I had expectation. I never really looked at them and I was like, no, I need you to live up to this.
Yeah.
Like it was just genuine friendship built off of childhood bonds created and hanging out and crying over girlfriends or being bullied or whatever the hell it might be. But now that we're adults, I texted all of them the other day, and I was like, hey, like, I don't think any of us has ever said this to one another, but like, if we take a second and look back and reflect, like, I'm so fucking proud of all three of you because they've all done something awesome with their life, be it just a career that they wanted to chase. They're all married. Brady and Zoe are starting a family. Like, they're doing awesome things that they chose to do and want to do. Mm-hmm. And I can look at them and be like, wow, you know what? That's freaking awesome that my three childhood best friends have grown up, gone to college, started careers and families. Yeah. And I never had expectations for them to live up to anything, but I can look at them and be like, wow, I'm fucking proud to call them my friends. But now it's like everybody's on a different wavelength of sorts, where friendship is now started off as business partners, or friendship starts in a different direction, and it's not built on what we built off of as kids.
Never will, though.
So like setting expectations now just leads to that disappointment factor. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're comparing like childhood friendships that had no expectations and they can reflect on and say, fucking hell, I'm proud of those people, mm-hmm. to being 30, making friends with relatively the same age individuals, and then being like, what the fuck, you're a 29-year-old male and you barely even have your adult life together. Yeah. So yeah, it's a weird comparison to me.
Yeah. I think it's challenging because at this age we want to make friends with people that are elevating us as well, and so it's really easy to weed people out, whereas like we're not looking for that as children. We're like, you have a cool toy I want to play with? Sick. Yeah. We're neighbors? Yeah. Cool. Like, well,
what's the one thing I always say?
Proximity in a lot of scenarios.
What's the one thing I always say when we're talking about like other couples we want to hang out with? I literally go like, yeah, they're real adults.
Yeah.
Like that's our
standard.
That's our standard. It's like,
spending time with people.
Wait, they pay their bills, they have a job, they're communicative, they're respectful. Yeah, they're real adults.
Yeah. Reciprocal, like that's a big one for me, is I just can't stand dragging people fucking along. It drives me crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what do you mean you called out of work because you like just wanted to fuck off? Like, I hate that. I want people that are elevating me. I want people that I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. And I feel like it's just so bizarre how hard it is to come by that. I'm like,
you want to surround yourself with people who are on the same wavelength, who have the same ambitions, who have the same, or similar. Doesn't have to be the same everything, but similar. Yeah. Where it's reciprocal, like you said. It's not top down. It's not lower level looking up. Yeah. It's a mutual factor of things where there's not a standard, but like, how did I want to say this?
I think too, like I hear it all the time on podcasts and stuff, and it's so out of my realm that people are like, yeah, I have like really good drinking friends. I have really good like going out friends, but I don't have friends on like a level I connect with, or those party friends I wouldn't call like when me and my boyfriend break up. And like, we don't party. So like the thing I would rely on is like friends that I actually have connection with. Mm-hmm. Because outside of that, it's like, I'm not going to just sit at the beach in silence and cross my arms and enjoy your presence. Like, there has to be some substance there. Yeah. So,
well, I mean,
I think that changes our...
Two things to that perfect point. Tom Schuster, actually, in his podcast a while ago, he mentioned this to me. He was like, you can either be a couch friend or a treadmill friend. Yeah. Treadmill friend being somebody who lifts you up and makes you want to keep going. A couch friend being somebody where you're done with that conversation and it's like, shit, I have to sit and fucking... recharge after that. Yeah. And then similarly to that point, what was the last thing you said again? Oh no, I had a second point and I can't remember it now. And how I went to dinner with Tom and Mike on Saturday, and I came home and I was like, for the majority of the dinner we talked about anything other than our clients and our coaching and our job, which was nice because I was like, cool, it's all reciprocal conversation that's off topic of our norm, and we could just enjoy each other's presence, because it really was like, cool, we're all kind of in a similar playing field. I respect you, you respect me, we're good friends. Like, let's talk about anything other than the job, the business, and all those things that seems to plague our conversations nowadays.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where, again, we talked about how we have to have expectations, and that I think in our household starts with in the household, and then we're very protective of our space and who we let into it, and our bandwidth is very important to us. So we just don't allow at this point in our lives having people that don't meet those expectations and standards. But the whole point of the episode is why having those expectations will let you down. And I think we've seen that time and time again, whether it be clients, mentors, friends, where we're very much givers, me and you. And I say this quote all the time, but the givers have to be careful because the takers like have no boundaries.
Yep. I mean, shit, talk about that car that you repaired and had to get paid back
it's
2
just
years
crazy.
later.
You know, you have to have expectations, but when you hold people to a specific standard and expect them to meet it, you are going to be let down, because I find that most people just aren't. Everyone is selfish in some capacity. And, you know, as bodybuilders, we experience that every single day, have to be selfish, but there's a way to do it in a way where you're not just fucking everyone around you.
Well, it's a balance. It's a balance of being selfish for taking care of your own damn self, which I believe everyone should focus on. I have this conversation with my client Kathy all the time. It's not selfish to focus on your fitness, your nutrition, and your health. It's actually the most selfless thing that you can do, because in 20 years, you're still going to be able to pick up your grandkids and have fun with them and play with them and be active with them.
Yeah.
So in the same regard, like as bodybuilders, because it's something that's very much so in our circle, yeah, it's a very selfish sport, but you can balance it. You can balance it with selflessness in the ways, in the times, and the areas that you can in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
But
Very similarly, like the whole, you have to put your mask on before others, like it's the same.
yeah, no, that's a perfect comparison there.
Yeah.
But definitely strongly support your your point on, like, you can't entirely be the kindest person, because you'll eventually get taken advantage of. But you have to hold other people to some form of standard, some form of expectation, some form of boundary.
Yeah.
And if they don't meet it, then it's okay. Don't keep an expectation for them. Just don't be disappointed. Just set boundaries just set boundaries, really.
And two, I think we made this comparison yesterday, but we've all had that experience where we're going into like a first date and we're obsessed with this person. They're so hot, or they're out of our league, or they have an incredible job, or whatever the thing is that like draws you to that individual. And then you go on the date and you're like completely let down. Yeah. And this, you know, image that you've created of them in your head, that they're whatever you've now portrayed them as, comes crashing down, because you realize that there's so many gaps, and like there's no connection, there's no chemistry, they're actually an asshole, like whatever the case may be. And, you know, it's important that you allow your opinion to change, because if you just continue to like make excuses because of what this, you know, imaginated person is that you thought of prior to that first date, well, one, you're going to be continuously let down. But I think in so many scenarios, we don't allow our mindset of people to evolve, and we just continue to make excuses for them. And we don't change the standard, or we don't change who they are to us in our minds. And that's like why they always say short-term relationships and flings and stuff always hurt so much than long-term breakups, because you create this like notion of who they are.
This narrative.
Yeah, and like they're just never that, right? And so you look back on these memories and you're thinking about like all these alleged good things or good times, but those good things are kind of falsified. And it's so interesting, because I made the reference, like I was hired by somebody I really, really respected, big social media following, like you just thought this person was the shit. Then you develop a relationship and you work under them and you're like,
not it.
Disappointing, to be fair. So it's hard, because had I not allowed myself to readjust and pivot and see the person for what they were, I would have just continued to make excuses, because they were so glamorized to me at the beginning. And, you know, that goes for any influencer or celebrity or anything. You hear these stories about people that like meet celebrities in person and are like, what the fuck was that? You know, it ruins the whole image. But we can't expect the person that we like think this person to be on day one to be the person that they are at the end of the relationship. And I think that's why, you know, we're so lucky that we've grown and changed and evolved with one another. But that's why the honeymoon phase ends for people and everything. It's like you eventually like get to know the true them and not this.
Well, yeah, by year two, you should also expect that you and your significant other or partner aren't the same person.
And you would hope that.
Like, realistically, if you look at it, we started dating December of 2021. By December of 2023, we were in entirely different roles, jobs, places in our life. I was now a pro. You were dealing with health issues. You were working a serious sales job. Like, we were not the same people.
Thank God.
We didn't expect to be the same people, but we still loved each other the same way and still had our continuation of our honeymoon phase because of how we were to each other.
Yeah.
But to your point as well with that old boss, it's like a toxic relationship.
For sure.
And you can look at that from any direction, be it you're actually in a relationship with that person, they're your employer, or just your friend. And I'm thinking about two of our friends here that were closer with one than the other in a relationship, and that other significant person had a best friend who was more toxic than anything and driving a wedge in the relationship. And it was just because, oh, quote unquote, he's my best friend was the excuse, but the actions of said best friend were just toxic to the entire situation, relationship, and the friendship. So just labeling somebody, oh, they're my best friend, should not ever be the excuse of, yeah, they're throwing a gigantic wedge in my relationship and our friendship, but I'm just going to let them slide because, quote unquote.
Yeah. I think making excuses for people is going to be the downfall of everyone. Like, you just can't at certain points. Like, you have to sit back and be like, what is the value of this relationship? Who is this person to me?
And that's why I think it's so hard for our age demographic.
Yeah.
Because I asked my dad about this the other day. I was like, have you ever had a falling out like that with friends? Like, have you had friends who just don't live up to expectations? And he's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense because your world is not revolved around texting your friends 24/7. Your friendships are built on, cool, we go to our 9 to 5s. We see each other on the weekends for a barbecue or an event, maybe 2 to 3 times a month. Maybe we'll get together for an event on like a random holiday. But nobody's talking every day about their personal lives and divulging every detail. And on a Tuesday, whatever happened at 10 a.m., my dad doesn't know about it, about his friend and how he shit his pants on his way to work.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I saw somebody at the gym, and had you not the night before told me something that was going on with them personally, I wouldn't have even known. And when I was talking to them, they were like, oh, well, so-and-so's home because they're still dealing with, And I was like, it's so interesting because had Connor not told me 6 hours ago, I wouldn't have known. But it's because everything's on the internet.
Yep.
And I'm like, actually, I don't know. And quite frankly, I don't want to know. It's not my business. And quite frankly, it's not the internet's business. So whatever. But it's so interesting because so much of who we are is our brand and attracts people to work with us. So we do get caught in this nasty rabbit hole of having to share a lot. And I've always told you, like, I think one of my superpowers with social media has always been, like, I don't tell the internet a lot, but they feel like they know me, and I'm appreciative of that.
I was going to say, I feel like you and I are really good with that with our relationship.
And thank God, because I've said it on the podcast. I've said it time and time again. I respect and feel for the influencers who literally have to come online and be like, sorry, I didn't post anything yesterday. My mom had this going on. Like, I don't feel like I owe that to the internet or anyone.
Fuck that.
At all. But, yeah, it's like fun to do a vlog every once in a while. But I think about like the girls that like do those 7 days a week or 5 times a week even. And I'm like, yeah, like
every detail of your life is out there.
Don't even want to pick up my phone some days and make a fucking reel for a supplement. Like, I'm good. So I give a lot of credit to the people that do that, but I'm thankful that I've built enough of a brand without doing it.
So let's see. Can we send people off with 1 or 2 pieces of advice in terms of how they can go about their life with their expectations of others?
Yeah. I think my biggest piece of advice is I hold different friends to different standards, and I will say, like, the friendships that I developed prior to being an entrepreneur or even a bodybuilder, I look at those friends not in a more negative way by any means, but just in a completely different way. I don't expect them to do certain things with their health, their body, whatever. And it's very challenging to not challenge them and be like, but why? But, the people that I developed relationships with in my late 20s and 30s, I do hold to a little bit of a different standard because at this stage of my life, I get to be very choosy. And the people from prior, I could call any single one of them and know that they're on the next flight. If I needed literally anything, they're incredible friends. But if I'm looking at these two people both going through the same thing, one, I'm probably going to push a little bit harder and challenge, and the other one, I'm going to be a more as you should kind of friend. So I think it also is a self-reflection because, you know, I can't give 100% of my bandwidth to every single person, and vice versa. I don't expect them to always call me out of my shit. But those friends that I'm a little bit more intertwined with in my later years, I do keep them in my life because I hold them to a different standard. Yeah. And I would say you just have to reflect on like who this person is to you, what do they bring to your life, what value are you bringing to their life, and make assessments from there.
Boundaries
and
assessments.
Boundaries are really important.
Mine's going to go along the similar lines, but I think from where I'm currently sitting with the self-development I've gone through over the past 6 months, which I feel like I do every 6 months now, as I'm looking at my past like 3 years.
Thank God.
Thank God. Well, past 2 years, I'd say, because you got me reading about end of 2024, maybe middle of 2024 it was. Anyway, where I'm going to come from, the angle I'm going to take on this is setting expectations for others. Start with yourself. Be very confident in the expectations you hold yourself to, the standards you live up to.
Yeah, that's huge.
And then as people come into your life, find where they fit into your own expectations and then hold them to something either similar or aligned with that. So people I'm thinking about now, I'm thinking about like Matt Wade, Mike Nassif, Tom Schuster, anybody I know in the coaching realm right now who's like genuinely ambitious and working hard at it. I consider them great friends. I consider them great people. But I don't really hold them to any expectations because I know that they're just working their ass off on their own, that they're respectful individuals, and that when we get together, it's like, cool, I might not talk to you for 10 days, but then we'll get together and shoot the shit for 2 hours and not even look at our phones.
Yeah.
So it's like the expectation of myself is that I want to live up to a higher standard across the board and lead others that way and be something that people can look at and be like, oh, I want to live up to that, or I want to set myself up to be in a similar place.
Yeah. I think you can probably relate to this, but it's really like damning the first time it happens. And I think it's still damning every time when I get a message. It's like, I admire you in Connor's relationship. Now I hold my relationships to this standard, or completely opposite coin. Like, you got me in the gym. Your post did this for me, like whatever it is. And so even if it's the smallest piece of impact and you can hold yourself to that, if it impacts one other person, that's huge. So you're not going to do that by just like sitting there and saying Monday. Go pick one thing that you're going to become even just good at and share it and hold yourself to that standard and don't fucking miss.